So this is a moment I'll invite you to close your eyes if you would like to. And let's take a deep breath together. And I invite you to allow my words to be the words of your heart. I am here on purpose. I am here to be pointed toward my own wisdom. I recognize that I am a child of God, born of God, connected to God, always. Wherever I am, God is, and all is truly well. In this moment, I recognize there is nothing for me to do. I am not trying to get anything, but rather to let something. Let the truth of who I am, the truth with a capital T, arise in this moment. I relax. I open up. I am ready. Let us begin. And as you're ready, you can open your eyes. We've created a prayerful and sacred space, and we are carrying that forward with us as we talk about life unfolding. I want to start with a couple of quotes. This is Marianne Williamson. It's Daily Reflections and Devotion, so it's a little small devotional, and it just starts with day one. So you can start it at any day one. Day one can be November 18th or whatever day you want it to be. But I love this book. So that is not the one. Okay, this is it. I meet limited circumstances with unlimited thoughts. While the world is changeable, the truth with this capital T is not. May I not be tempted by the drama of the world to forget the eternal peace of God. May I hold to the truth of who I really am and how the universe operates, despite whatever the world may say. And a universe where only love is real, I need not be deterred by the appearances of fear. Where there is lack in the material world, I proclaim the infinite abundance of the spiritual universe. Where there is discord and conflict on the material plane, I proclaim the love that unites us as one. Today I meet the limits with the thinking of unlimited possibility. Whatever occurs, I remember that miracles are possible regardless of circumstance. I proclaim the miracle. I pray for the miracle. And I rejoice in the miracle. Amen. So, today we're talking about life and order and that divine intelligence that makes the trees grow and takes an acorn and creates an oak tree, takes an embryo, a fetus, and has it grow in the womb. That divine intelligence, that divine order, that perfect timing is what we are talking about. And the recognition is that we have the ability to choose and proclaim in any moment, regardless of the circumstance, that all is in divine order. Divine order is a unity term, and I remember, and I've said this before, but I remember when I first started as spiritual leader, for those of you who don't know, and as a refresher for you that do, I am taking classes, so I am on the way to becoming ordained as a Unity minister. So I am a spiritual leader by special dispensation of Unity Worldwide. .com, not. So I was just, while I had done many years of self-study on the spiritual path and done lots of internal work and reading and all of these things, a lot of the unity concepts were new to me. And so Cindy was board president at the time, and she would always say, all is in divine order. And I think that sounds cool. I wonder what that means. And now I have this new understanding and awareness of what that means. And so I'd like to share a little bit of it with you because I feel like it's really powerful. So the recognition is that in any moment, we have the ability to tap into, to recognize and affirm that regardless of what has happened before this moment, regardless of what is right now, I can choose that there is one power, one presence active in, through, and as my life. That is God, the good, of which I am a part. All is in divine order. We have the ability to do that, and it is like a course correct. We are born of divine intelligence, born of God, spirit, universe, whatever word you use, it doesn't matter. The word you used is not important. It's the meaning behind it and the depth behind it. And so we have the ability at any time to reframe. And this is something I talked about yesterday at the prison. I said, I want all of you to think about what you had for lunch yesterday. I've done this before, but I'm doing it in a different way this time. So I invite you, if you'd like, to think of what you had for lunch yesterday. Just picture it in your mind. Picture where you were, who you were with, who you were sitting with. Got it? Got it? Okay, where is it? Where is that experience?
It's in your mind.
In your mind. It's gone. It's over. It's past. It's done. The only way that experience lives right here, right now, is if I'm focusing on it right here, right now. So the recognition is that my power is right here, right now, to no matter the past, even if the past is a moment before, I can now reaffirm and realign, and all of the pieces will fall into place. I wanted to tell you before I start this that I actually did ask my husband beforehand if I could talk about this. Right, honey? Tell him, because normally I don't. Yeah. Tell him I did. I did good. I even did it yesterday, so I'm way ahead. I didn't even do it 5 minutes before we started. I was like, hey, can I talk about this? And he gave me permission, because he was a beautiful, beautiful example of this. And so it's going to get a little personal, but again, I have permission. So on Friday of last week, at about 4 o'clock, Keith gets a message because his employer does not do direct deposit, and so he picks up his checks every other Friday. And at 4 o'clock, Keith sent a message, and he said, are the checks at the shop, and can I come get them? And he received a message back that said, no, I can't give you the check. I'm sorry, it will bounce. This is last Friday. And so he looks at me and he goes, and he just let me read the text. I feel like he just didn't want the fallout of like him telling me and me having a reaction to it. And I have to tell you, my first reaction, ego speaks loudest and first. It was not from the depth of my being. Not from the depth of my being, not at all. Especially because he's been out of town for 3 weeks and we have not seen him at all. So he's been working all of this overtime, driving all of this way, gone all the time, tanks of gas every day, money, so not only are we not getting paid, we're actually paying for the privilege of Keith never being at home and working 12 hours a day. So that was exciting. And so, but I've shared with you guys before to remind you, and to remind those of you who know, and to tell those of you who don't know, that this past summer, we went to an island. Do you remember that story? When everybody had their suitcases, but not me, because my husband forgot it upstairs, but that's okay. We went to an island where you literally had to row the boat to get to the place. This is my father-in-law. It's his plan. It's his idea. Anyway, so we go to the island, and we specifically had the intention during this time, because we're on an island up north, and so that we can think and reflect. And he's going to have time off work, so he's going to think about what does he want to do, like what does he want to do. And he's got his lovely parents there with us, his dad and his stepmom, and so we're going to spend some time thinking about this. And at that time, Keith set the intention that he wanted to go out and work on his own. That he wanted to, what is that term? Hang your own shingle? Am I making that up?
Hang out.
What?
Hang out your own shingle.
Hang out your own shingle. That. He wanted to do that. He wanted to go out on his own. So he created this intention. And so us, all of our family, we all start working toward this intention. And Keith takes a marketing class, and he took a test and passed it, and it was huge and big, and became licensed, so he got, affirmation that he could be licensed. So all of these steps happened, and we're at this place where we're like, it just kind of felt like deadlock, like when are we going to do it? Because at some point he has to just do it, and we don't really know when that is, and we can't even talk about when it is because he's been out of town for 3 weeks, and I'm just barely treading water between work and school and the kids and all these things, and so we're not even able to talk about it. And so we were in that kind of place, and what happened when he didn't get paid is I looked at him and I said, oh, so that thing that we've been worried about you not bringing in an income because you're going to go work out on your own, turns out it's happening. So I think that, and I said this to him literally. I looked at him and I said, if you were anybody but my husband, I would be looking at you and saying, the universe is dumbing this down for you, and it is saying it's time right now to go out on your own. Like, that's what's happening. Everybody's shaking their head. That's because you're not his wife. If you shared his bills, you wouldn't be so sure. But okay, yeah. So I said to him, if you were anybody else on the planet, like literally anybody else on the planet, I would be telling you this is what is happening. And Keith acknowledged. He sat and he was like, well, no, and I think there's this other thing I could do, and they have all these benefits, and there's this other company, and I know somebody that works for them, and I could easily get a job there. And I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking, benefits, paycheck, somebody else is doing it. And so the human part of me is like, that's a great idea. But the bigger, broader part of me was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is not what's happening here. But he's like, but I have all this, I have to take care of us, and I have to, all of this responsibility that he feels on his shoulders. Can you feel that? I'm sure a lot of you have that kind of same responsibility. Like, I have to take care of my family. I have these people that I need to provide for. And I said, so here we are. The recognition is that the fear is here. Like, there is a part of you that is really, really afraid. There is a part of me that is really, really, really afraid. And then there's another part. And we need to acknowledge that the fear is here and that it doesn't get to drive. It doesn't get to make the calls. It gets to be here, but it doesn't get to make the decisions. And it was amazing because as soon as he got it, as soon as I felt him go, yeah, this is exactly what's supposed to happen. It empowered me to go right back to human self, where I'm like, oh my God, I'm so afraid, I'm so afraid, I'm so afraid. Because he had all the confidence thing taken care of, so I could go right back to anxiety, so that was fun. so I could just do that, so he took care of it. And his father said something really great, and he was talking about the analogy of the quarter. You guys know this? So fear and excitement, just two sides of the same coin. Yep. So take the fear and flip it. So if that works for you, take that. That's my father-in-law, it's from him. And so that's what we've been doing. So here's the deal. So when you don't get paid, and you're supposed to on Friday, so then, oh, this is good, you need to know this part too. So we realize that he's not going to have a direct deposit from the main account through which all of our bills go out. So I go, okay, let's run to the bank with a check that I've been carrying around. Let's run to the bank with this and put it in, make sure. And so we get there at 4 o'clock. This is 4:30 on a Friday. So we're like, we're good because our bank stays open later because it's a Friday. And we pull up and there is no one there. And it is all dark. And I was like, what is going on here? And I'm like, I'm going to go read that sign. So I go read the sign, and it said, closed for a technology upgrade until Tuesday morning. So literally, we're sorry that you will not be able to access your account online or see any information of any kind until Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. And I looked at Keith, and let me explain something to you. I was not acknowledging divine order in that moment. I looked at him, I said, you have got to be kidding me. The world is broken. Like, paychecks are not going in. The bank is closed. You can't get to it. Like, what is happening to the world? And so, and then we just decided to go out to eat. So, because we were all in the car. What are you going to do? But the recognition is that, so that was just fun. I wanted to just tell you about that. But the recognition is we went to dinner and we reframed. We went, look, there is only one power and one presence active in, through, and as our life. That is God, the good of which we are a part. Everything's okay. Everything's fine. All of it's being taken care of. Exactly what's happening is what's supposed to be happening. Like we're on the right path. So you can take one circumstance, right? And you can look at it one of two ways. You can go, everything is going wrong, right? The world is broken. Somebody fix it. Or you can go, wait a minute. This obstacle is a detour in the right direction. This is just telling me this is the way we're supposed to go. Further affirmation. And I can tell you that we've been getting nonstop affirmation. Like nonstop. Like it just keeps coming in that this is the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Keep going, keep going. And so we're cheering each other on. And so we take turns. If I'm nervous, he's not. And if he's nervous, I'm not. And so we get to show up for each other in that way. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time. So life unfolding. Everything in perfect order. I just mentioned one power, one presence, active in, through, and as my life. God, the good of which I am a part, all is in divine order. The reason why I share this with you up here is because that is literally the affirmation that I use. The words you say do not matter. They don't matter. It's the meaning behind them. So whatever words work for you, the takeaway is that in the moment that you realize you are arguing with what is already happened, in the moment where you realize, oh my gosh, something's wrong, like something has gone wrong, the moment you recognize that, you want to recenter, redirect. Everybody take a picture. I promise I'll give these to you. We'll post them on Facebook. Right, Ben? Right, Nicole? See? Okay, so it doesn't matter. The words you say don't matter. What does matter is that you are recognizing that you are a part of a divine order and a divine intelligence, and that at any moment you can claim it and redirect. It doesn't matter what's happening on the outside world. Can you feel that? Okay. Next. Okay, this is the unhelpful form of denial and the helpful form of denial. We talked about this before. Unhelpful denial goes like this. This isn't happening, la, 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 la. That is the unhelpful form of denial. The helpful form of denial goes like this. This is happening. It already is. And it has no power to keep my good from me. Can you feel that? So we're not talking about sugarcoating. We're not talking about pasting a smile on an unhappy circumstance. We're saying this is happening and it has no power to keep my good from me. Because here's the deal. Anytime something's happening, what we're doing is projecting into the future about how bad it's going to be. In the moment, we're breathing, we're still moving, life's still going, all is well. So what we're doing is recentering back to the moment. Going, yes, it's happening, and it has no power to keep my good from me. I love this. Of course, in Miracles says that we're all learning, and we're all learning all of the time, all of the time, all of the time. And we have two choices. We can learn from love, or we can learn from fear. And we have the choice. Long ago, when I heard this, it resonated with me so strongly that I decided right there and right then that I was willing to learn through love. And that I no longer needed fear or pain or suffering to be my teacher. And so, in any moment where I recognize that I am learning through fear, I stop and I say, I am willing to learn through love. I am willing. I do not need fear or pain to be my teacher. I am willing to learn through love. These are all just tools of whatever resonates with you to reconnect you to that truth of divine order and that all is happening exactly as it should. Okay, respond, don't react. I'm going to read it. Non-reaction does not mean that you do not address hurtful, unconscious behavior. It means that you do not react to a person or situation from your hurt or your pain, but from the deepest, most loving part of yourself you can access in the moment. The intention is not to complain, but to address something to bring about healing and change. So the recognition is that it is fine to address hurtful behavior. It is not about, love doesn't always say yes, right? Love does not always say yes. Love sometimes says no. That's not okay. It's okay to address that, but the recognition is that we are addressing it not to complain, not to judge, but because we want to change. And so our work in any moment is to try to access the deepest part of ourselves, the most loving, conscious part of ourselves that we can. And I've talked about this before, but I have something where when I can't get there, I take a time out. I just go and I take some breaths before I respond. That's the difference between reaction and response. Because the recognition is when we are in reaction, we are arguing with what is. We are not aligning ourselves with divine order. Literally, all the pieces can be moving into place for your highest good, and you will not see it when you are in a place of reaction. You won't be able to see it. And so we want to make sure that we drop the defense, and we respond, because that is the realignment. The realignment happens in the response versus the reaction. When you complain, I love this. This is a quote from Eckhart Tolle. When you complain, you are making yourself a victim. Leave the situation, change the situation, or accept the situation. Oh, that's the best one. Well, anyway. Leave the situation, change the situation, or accept the situation. All else is madness. Can you feel that? There's only ever 3 choices. Accept it, change it, leave it. Anything else is not in alignment with that divine order and divine intelligence. Accept it, change it, leave it. And I'll just caution you, because I don't want everybody to go home and decide to leave each other. Clearly I have to leave. I'm sorry. That isn't it. Because when we access the deepest part of ourselves, when we're able to get in touch with that space, we are able to recognize exactly the next step for the highest good of everybody. So accept it, change it, leave it doesn't mean everybody stop talking to your family. It means that it really, like in the moment, in real time, accept it, change it, leave it. If you can't accept it, leave. Take a minute. Take a breath. Have a safe word. Time out. I need to go for a second. Have to breathe. We give that each other. At our house, we say red light, time out. Time out, red light. Because that's for our kids, but for us too. Time out, red light, right? Accept it, change it, leave it. So, before we pray, the recognition is, and the takeaway is, that, again, no matter what our 5 senses are telling us, what is has already happened, and it is in the past. As soon as it happens, it's in the past. So arguing with it, and Byron Katie says this, and I love to quote it, right? When we argue with reality, we lose, but only 100% of the time. Right? It's already happening. It is. It was. The only thing to do is to affirm that you're on the right track. You're on the right path. That all is happening in divine order, right, Cindy? Mm-hmm. Divine order. Whatever words work for you. Okay, so I invite you to close your eyes if you would like to. And take a breath with me. I recognize that I am an integral part to divine intelligence. That all is truly unfolding exactly as it should. Regardless of outer appearances, I know and proclaim that all is truly well. That there is one power, one presence, active in, through, and as my life and affairs. That is God, the good, of which I am a part. I know that I will leave here today, and that life will unfold exactly as it should. And in a moment where I begin to argue with what is, in a moment where I begin to think that something has gone wrong, I will be reminded of my own wisdom that was pointed toward today. I'll be reminded of my knowing that all is well, and that all that is needed is for me to take a breath, to realign, to affirm that all is truly well. The universe is friendly and it is for me. All things are working together for my highest good. I take that knowledge, that realization, And I feel it filling me to overflowing. And from this place of fullness, I am ready to go and to be of service, to be love in the world, to follow the divine purpose for my life. Because the details are being taken care of. And what is left is the question, how do I serve? I am ready. I am thankful. Breathe in once more. And as you're ready, you can open your eyes.